Alright babe, let's get into the extra juicy, full-course meal version of this mess, because what went down in the Jenkins household is not just tea, it's a scalding pot about to boil over. Grab a snack, because this one's layered like drama lasagna. So here's what really went down. Stephanie Jenkins, who's been playing Stepford stepmom for years, just got a brutal wake-up call. Deshawn, the same child she's paraded like her own personal proof of motherhood, spent one weekend with his actual mother, Desiraye, and came back calling her a mom, and that one word? It shattered Stephanie's carefully built house of control. Let's back it up. Stephanie and her husband Drew Jenkins have been the gatekeepers of Deshawn's life for 3 whole years. In that time, Desiraye, his birth mother, has been pushed to the sidelines like she's some irrelevant figure, not even acknowledged in conversations. Stephanie, allegedly, played the long game, blocking calls, dodging co-parenting attempts, and creating this illusion that she alone was the only mother Deshawn needed. And Drew? He played along, maybe out of guilt, maybe out of laziness, maybe because letting Stephanie take over meant he didn't have to deal with the mess he made. But Desiraye? She wasn't sitting quietly. She was fighting in court, submitting paperwork, enduring delays and emotional warfare just for the chance to see her son. She had to claw her way back into his life, not because she was dangerous or unstable, but because the Jenkinses made sure she was shut out. Then, finally, a miracle, or at least a breakthrough. After years of legal hell, Desiraye got the go-ahead for a weekend visit. And she wasn't about to waste it. Here's where the twist hits. Desiraye didn't just plan a quiet weekend in. Nope. She linked up with another of Drew's baby mamas, plot twist number 2, and brought Deshawn face to face with his biological brother. These 2 boys, both fathered by Drew but raised in completely separate worlds, finally got to bond like the siblings they are. Together, the 2 moms created what insiders are calling a healing experience disguised as a family day out. They took the boys to an amusement park, where Deshawn finally got to be a kid, a real one. No more playing with hand-me-down toys in a cramped motel room. No more begging Stephanie for basic childhood joy and being told, next time. Desiraye delivered. From snacks and rides to laughter and love, Deshawn experienced something he hadn't in a long time, freedom. And that's when it happened. Somewhere between roller coasters and cotton candy, Deshawn looked at Desiraye and called her a mom. Not in a slip-up. Not out of confusion. But from a place of love, safety, and recognition. And it wasn't just once. The word kept coming. And with every time he said it, Stephanie's little illusion began to fall apart.
I've heard flipping around that Desiraye and Deshawn had a pretty good weekend. But of course, little Miss Jenna and Stephanie are going to try and push out Stephanie's narrative, because if Deshawn does well outside of Stephanie's home, then that just adds gasoline to the fire that Stephanie set in her own household. Stephanie, at 30 years old, you should know that building foundation off of lies does nothing but crumble.
Now, anyone else might have seen that as a sign to step back, reflect, maybe even heal the situation. Not Stephanie. She didn't just lose her cool, she went full silent treatment, ghosted Desiraye again, and started a behind-the-scenes smear campaign.
So when do you guys think the crash out's gonna happen?
Okay, so I personally think, this is my theory, it's gonna happen, there's multiple instances that I think can cause her to crash out. First one, having to pay for housing. Second one, Drew having to pay full child support for Arlena's son and we're going to jail for it. Third one, Deshawn staying away from her for like a night or a weekend, or Desiraye maybe getting full custody. And the fourth one, her views consistently going down because she is becoming less relevant than her first video that she posted that got her viral, because like, I feel like people are getting tired of her content because there's no improvement going on, so.
But of course, she didn't do it directly. Enter Jenna Van Nero, Stephanie's right-hand attack dog. Jenna, who basically operates like Stephanie's public relations hit woman, took to social media with a sob story. She claimed Deshawn didn't want to stay with Desiraye, that he didn't have a bed, that there were no clothes, no toys, basically suggesting Desiraye was unfit.
So I have spoken to Stephanie. I know people want an update about the Deshawn visit with Desiraye. What we know is that Deshawn was very adamant about not wanting to go. He did not want to go there. He didn't even want to do the visits. He does not have a bed there. He does not have his own clothes there. We did see that Desiraye decided to go live the very first night she took her son and continue to post her Cash App and plug donations, which is why she has made her account private. She doesn't want anybody else to be able to see her begging, just her followers and her subscribers. So, like I said, Stephanie seemed very worried about Deshawn. I think everybody's just kind of worried mentally how he's going to do. Like I said, there's no bed over there for him. There's no toys. He doesn't know the little boy or the boyfriend / husband or whatever. And again, mom was just on TikTok the first night. So like I said, it's very clear what these people are doing with this boy. They are going to use him, exploit them, get as many donations as they can, and then they're going to drop him back off with Drew and Stephanie. She's made it very clear she does not want full custody. She just wants visits. And let me be clear, while we know the PayPal money is not gone, and there are still funds in that PayPal reserved for her attorney, Desiraye has not received that money. And it's not sounding like Desiraye will receive that money. It's sounding like that money will either be refunded or set aside for the council. And since particular people are trying to now, shy away from speaking about Desiraye, but they're still willing to post this, it would leave to say that I would believe it would mean they're no longer Team Des and they're just trying to defend themselves. Yeah. Good luck with that, guys. Have a wonderful day.
But here's where the facts burn through the fiction. Desiraye wasn't playing. She came with receipts. Court documents, photos, and testimony showing Deshawn has his own room at her place, with a real bed, real clothes, hygiene essentials, and toys. She even made sure he had enriching activities and a safe environment, one that nurtures, not controls. And then came the knockout punch. People started digging. Turns out, Stephanie and Drew lost all of Deshawn's belongings after their storage unit was auctioned off. And not for hundreds. Not even $50. Just $4. $4. Everything Deshawn owned, clothes, keepsakes, toys, donations from loved ones, gone because the Jenkinses couldn't pay a basic storage bill. So when Stephanie and Jenna had the nerve to point fingers about whether Desiraye had enough for Deshawn, the internet said, "Girl, be for real. How do you lose your kid's stuff and then throw shade at someone who showed up prepared?" This time, she went after Desiraye again, accusing her of going live on social media just to beg for money. According to Jenna, Desiraye was using Deshawn as a pawn to get donations, a low blow, even by her standards. But here's what actually happened. Desiraye has always been transparent about needing financial support for her legal fight. She's never played a surprise sympathy game. She was upfront, honest, and most importantly, accountable. She showed exactly where the money went, court filings, payment confirmations, even names of the legal professionals she hired. Everything was backed up. Meanwhile, Stephanie? Crickets. No receipts, no updates, no explanation of how she's managing to support multiple kids in a cramped motel, and no proof that any of those children, including Deshawn, are actually thriving under her care. Just more noisy TikToks filmed inside tight, chaotic spaces, and promises to take the kids out that somehow never get fulfilled. So when you zoom out and really look at who's showing up and who's just showing off, the contrast is loud. Desiraye is putting in real effort, not for clout, not for clicks, but for her son. The work is speaking louder than the noise Stephanie and Jenna keep manufacturing. But let's not pretend this is Jenna's first time running Stephanie's errands. She's been the designated mouthpiece for years, resurfacing whenever Stephanie needs someone to do her dirty work without dirtying her own hands. This time, Jenna tried to revive the tired narrative that Desiraye abandoned Deshawn years ago, a claim that's been debunked and buried a dozen times. Then she took it even further, trying to discredit Desiraye's donation efforts by questioning whether the money really went to legal fees. Plot twist, Desiraye's advocate didn't just sit back and let the lies fly. They dropped official legal records, verified receipts, and court documentation proving every cent was used to retain a qualified attorney. We're talking real receipts, not some blurry screenshot with cropped edges. But even then, Jenna wasn't done. She doubled down, saying the proof wasn't detailed enough, or that it raised more questions. That's when it became clear, this was never about the truth. It was about spinning a narrative. Creating smoke just to avoid the fire. And like clockwork, once the drama started losing steam and the truth started catching up, Jenna vanished. No follow-up. No apology. No retraction, just silence. It's her classic move. Cause chaos, plant doubt, then ghost when the facts hit too hard. And Stephanie? Always a ghost in the background, never speaking up herself, but somehow always benefiting from the mess others make on her behalf. Now fast forward to today, Deshawn is finally tasting peace. He's experiencing joy, bonding with his biological mom, and starting to see what real love feels like. And what does Stephanie do in response? Full-on panic mode. Out of nowhere, she pivots her whole online vibe. Suddenly, she's back on camera trying to play Mother Earth, posting a video of herself mashing up baby food for her 7-month-old. Trying to sell this image of herself as a grounded, nurturing, salt-of-the-earth type mom. But even that felt more like a performance than parenting. In the video, she claims she's mashing up fruit by hand because they don't have a blender. But then, mid-sentence, casually mentions they do own 2 blenders, they're just in storage. Sound familiar?
Already been eating strawberries and peaches separately. She may have got that from me, but I think peaches might be her favorite fruit. And I don't know if y'all have noticed, but these peaches are going out of season so quick this year. I swear we've had like 1 good month. Maybe that's just for the yellow peaches though, because we switched to the white ones and they're doing okay still. All right, like I said, I threw everything in a pot and then I added like half a cup, maybe a cup of water. Gotcha. Y'all probably really thought I was that stupid that I was going to put honey in here. But I did know she wasn't going to go for it if it even tasted just a little bit bitter, so I wanted to add just a little bit of sweetener. I did half of this 1/8 cup of sugar, so it was barely any sugar. I let it boil until everything was soft enough for me to mush like I was just showing. And then I brought a whisk and I wanted to finish the process outside because it was just really nice outside. And right as I sat down to do this, my baby boy wanted to come up and give me some loves. It was just so sweet. Also, quick update for those of you that have been wondering, this little guy is saying some words. He's saying dada, hello, hi, as well as he gestures at things and makes the beginning sounds of words that you can tell he's going for. And try to remember before you judge, not all kids have the same timing. We applaud all of our kids for their accomplishments. I was so fixated on mushing up this food, I didn't even realize how awful this angle was for me. And no, I'm not pregnant. I'm just currently rocking a mom bod, but I wanted to mix this up and get it a little less stringy than this. I mean, I feel like that stringy texture is going to throw anybody off, baby or not. Whisking got so out of hand here, I accidentally flicked some in my mouth, but hey, it wasn't so bad. It actually tasted pretty good. And yes, this was my weird ass reaction to it because it threw me off. All right, definitely not the best color and a bit time consuming, and all for nothing because the baby didn't even end up liking this one. But that doesn't mean I won't try again. And also, I'm by no means perfect. Occasionally, I do pick up organic baby food from the store for my baby, just for those busy moments when she's fussy and I need something quick. But honestly, I don't expect this girl to be on a period diet for very long. I think she's going to transition into solids really fast. All right, later that same day, I just smushed up a strawberry and peach, and she ate this up. And go ahead and judge me for my baby practicing her standing right next to the TV. Oh, don't give a damn. You're going to judge me for anything anyways. And on that note, my baby girl is so close to standing without holding on to anything. I'm so proud of her. I really feel like she's going to be walking before 9 months. All right, if you made it this far through the video and you're not already following me, what you doing? Thank you for watching. I appreciate y'all. Bye-bye now.
Because just months ago, that same storage unit was reportedly sold off for a whopping $4. And Stephanie's own sister confirmed it. So what's the truth? Are the blenders magically somewhere else, or is this another case of Stephanie dodging accountability with a made-up detail to make herself look pitiful? And it didn't stop at contradictions. The baby food was being prepped outside, directly on the ground, mixed in a pouch that had clearly touched the dirt. No high chair. No clean surface. Just a mom sitting in the grass, stirring fruit on the ground like it was cute. And to make matters worse, she added sugar to food for a baby under 1. Pediatricians everywhere would be screaming. Sugar isn't just discouraged at that age, it's considered risky. But Stephanie, in her quest to be quirky, even joked about adding honey. Girl. Honey? For a baby under 1? That's not just a parenting faux pas, it's dangerous. Infant botulism is real. And while she may have been joking, the internet is full of young, impressionable moms watching. There's a line between being relatable and being reckless, and Stephanie leaped over it. She tried to shift the spotlight like she always does, pivoting hard to make herself look like the doting parent again. This time, she posted a soft little update about her toddler, gushing about how he's finally starting to say words like dada, hi, and hello. Sweet, right? Not so fast. She used that post to clap back at people for questioning his speech development, acting like she's always been chill and understanding, talking about how every child develops at their own pace, and how judgment doesn't help. But here's the kicker, Stephanie herself has repeatedly floated the idea that her son might be on the autism spectrum. She's said it more than once, in public, casually dropping the word autism like it's a vibe, but when it comes to actually doing something about it, crickets. No evaluations, no therapy, no speech consultations, just a whole lot of speculation, vague posts, and zero action. Meanwhile, people who genuinely care have been gently nudging her in the comments, telling her to look into early intervention, get some checkups, maybe even start speech therapy. But instead of listening, she fires back like a teenager caught sneaking out. Defensive, snappy, playing the victim. Like, babe, no one's dragging you, they're trying to help because the stakes are your kid's future. And while she's busy being performative online, her toddler is still out here in the real world, unprotected. People have spotted him wandering around sketchy areas, including outside a literal motel. And not just hearsay, there's actual proof. At one point, the poor baby was seen alone in a parking lot, on Google Maps, no less. Like, that's not even oops territory, that's a straight-up safety hazard. So what did Stephanie do when the heat started rising? She tried to pivot the narrative again. This time by filming herself giving her son's beloved teddy bear a bath. Yes, really. A teddy bear. She even used her daughter's voice in the background to tug at people's heartstrings, trying to sell this whole, nurturing mama aesthetic. But viewers weren't buying it. Because what did they see? A teddy so grimy, so stained, so crusty, that it practically needed its own quarantine zone. This bear wasn't just loved, it was neglected. And this is the toy her son apparently clings to every night? That doesn't scream a warm home, that screams damage control. This wasn't a moment of maternal tenderness, it was a PR stunt. Real care isn't scrubbing a stuffed animal once for the camera, it's daily care. Clean clothes. Supervision. Hygiene. Safe spaces. And consistency. But people remember. They remember her partner screaming at that child during a live stream. They remember that little boy with dirt on his face, mismatched clothes, and no one looking out for him. They remember silence, radio silence from Stephanie every time real concerns were raised. So this sudden effort to show she cares? It just makes the neglect more obvious. It's giving too little, way too late. And just when you think this couldn't get any messier, enter the donation drama. Because of course, there's money involved. The GoFundMe, the Venmo transactions, the alleged legal fees, it's been chaos from the jump. Desiraye's advocate, Dooley aka Rights and Rights, had gone private for a while after being dragged online, but now she's popped back up trying to clear her name and drop receipts. Dooley says she never touched the GoFundMe, that was all Desiree's deal. But the Venmo money? That, she managed. She claims she sent Desiraye over $990 directly, spent $245 out of her own pocket for legal consultations, and refunded anyone who asked. In total, she says she raised $2,523.67 across platforms and sent a final check to Desiraye in July for $547.15 to cover expenses. Case closed? Not quite, because screenshots started circulating, messages from Dooley herself that contradict everything she just said. In one message, she allegedly told people all the funds had already been spent. So now folks are squinting at the math, asking where the rest went. Nothing's adding up, and it's giving cover-up vibes. And it wasn't just random internet sleuths raising eyebrows either. Alito, someone who's been knee-deep in this case from the very beginning, stepped forward and said what everyone else was thinking, the math ain't mathin'. He revealed that the figures Dooley had privately shared with him did not match the ones she suddenly started showing publicly. And babe, it wasn't just a little off. The numbers were straight up incompatible. To be fair, Desiraye hasn't called Dooley out directly. She's been respectful, calm, and just acknowledged what she actually received. That's it. But the moment Dooley re-entered the chat, she came in hot, guns blazing, all defensive like someone who knows something's off and is scrambling to clean it up. Instead of clarifying, it gave cover-up energy. Like, if everything was so above board, why does it feel like damage control? Dooley now says she's working on yet another video, this time packed with even more receipts and details to clear things up once and for all. But honestly, at this point, the trust is fractured. The donation effort, which was supposed to be this powerful show of support for Desiraye and Deshawn, has turned into its own side mess, a circus that's left everyone split, skeptical, and side-eyeing everyone involved. And Desiraye? She's done playing in the chaos. She's pulled back, gone quiet, and retreated from the spotlight, not because she's hiding anything, but because she's healing. And let's be real, who can blame her? This woman has been dragged through the dirt, labeled everything from unfit to unbothered, accused of all sorts of things without receipts, and forced to defend her motherhood daily just to be heard. At some point, silence isn't weakness, it's self-preservation. It's peace. It's her drawing a boundary. And in that silence, there's power. Because while the noise online gets louder, Desiraye is moving in silence and winning. She's not just surviving anymore, she's reclaiming her life. Her bond with Deshawn is growing stronger. He's not just existing, he's thriving. There's light in his smile now, comfort in his routine, and genuine joy in his little world. That's not just coincidence. That's care. That's connection. That's the kind of motherhood no post, no live stream, no narrative can manufacture. Meanwhile, Stephanie? Oh babe, she's spiraling. The cool bonus mom image she worked so hard to curate is slipping right through her fingers. Every story she posts, every frantic clapback in the comments, every forced display of maternal energy, it's starting to reek of desperation. She's no longer celebrating Deshawn's wins, she's panicking over losing control. This isn't about love, it's about ego. About staying relevant. About not being left behind in a narrative she used to control. And that's the difference, right? Desiraye is building something real with her son. Stephanie is trying to hold on to an illusion that's cracking by the second. But here's the raw truth, Deshawn has already chosen. He's found his peace. He's found his comfort. He's found his real mom. And no amount of forced affection, last-minute cleanups, or guilt-trippy posts can replace that. So now I'm asking you, has this whole mess spiraled beyond Stephanie's control? Is this her actual downfall, or just her latest attempt at keeping up appearances? Has Deshawn's shift toward real, stable love finally exposed how shallow her grip on him always was? If you made it this far, you already know, this story is wild and it's only heating up. So if you want the real tea, the raw updates, and no sugarcoating, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. We're not done yet, not even close. See you in the next one.